And hello, party people. Welcome back to another NRW review. That's right, another video for all our fans in internet land, comic book, and beyond. I am David S2E08, and I'm here with my buddy from Another Nutty, Rob the Movie Guy. What's good, Rob?
All is good, man. How are you doing so far?
I can't complain, man. I am so hyped. I know we've been talking about this episode for a week now, trying to get into it. We finally get to see it, and this is how you do a season finale, man. This was an amazing season.
So let's well, before we get into that here, because obviously we're excited about getting to the season finale here of the Boys season 2. So let's roll the trailer here real quick in closing for this season review of one of the most fantastic shows I've ever seen in my life here. So let's roll the trailer real quick.
Roll it.
Butcher? What happened?
My wife. She's alive. Vault's holding the captive somewhere. And right now, we're in a little bit of trouble.
Are you fucking with us?
Listen, this is a fucking mess. We're the most wanted lads in the country. We got soup terrorists. And we got no superheroes.
Hi! I'm Stormfront.
Who?
I'm the new girl.
Wonderful.
Oh,
God!
So what's your big plan?
We'll take them Vault.
there we go.
And I get my wife back.
We're in. Of course we're in.
We blow it up in the air.
More super terrorists will come. For all we know, these maniacs could be waiting for their chance to kill us all.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm just trying to help.
Really? How?
We are in a war, but we can fight back with an army of supermen, millions strong. Now, don't be a pussy. Laser my fucking tits.
1, 2, 3, hit it! She's got a whole army of soups.
We gotta stop her.
We need more soup!
Shit.
All right, what do we do? We can't just kill everyone.
That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Oh, great. Cool. Totally.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
I need some power!
We just need to keep our shit together a little bit longer.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm good.
All right, hands in the air. Like you just don't care. Kill.
And like I said earlier, this is how you do a season finale. This is how you end a season. It pretty much tied up a lot of loose ends from the previous season and this current season in a nice way, setting up for the third season in a way. There's so much to get into about this episode. Starting off with the very weird kind of PSA in the beginning of the episode, where they're talking about what to do during a supervillain attack, and it was like one of those weird kind of, if you're ever in this situation, do this. With Homelander and like the head of security or whatever. It was very funny and weird, and at the same time, kind of like
it was pretty tongue in cheek, I thought, and it definitely shows, from my perspective, like a really conservative view of how this is how they should be dealing with a situation like that, because you get nice little jokes of how they're encouraging the students to use any sort of weapon available. There's one with the flagpole these two kids are grabbing, and there's one kid who I thought was the best bit of the hole puncher with all this stuff coming from it. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And then, of course, the teacher has a gun, which she's like locked and loaded, ready to go. And
it reminded me of, like, those old duck and cover videos, but like,
right,
and
from
also
like
the recent, school shooting protocol with the blanket and everything. But no, everybody's kind of, holding their own behind their desk, like it's like they're ready to throw down and like go into like all out, war situation in the classroom. And like Homelander's like delivery of like at the end was just kind of like, wow, really? It
well, so
was very cheesy.
it was cheesy, but it brings up a point about what the direction, at least in the show, where society is heading here, which I thought was a very nice intro to kind of set the tone for the entire episode. And that's where really things starts to man, like, when I saw this episode, I must have like busted so many nuts watching this episode because I was so excited and so happy to see all these twists and turns that came about here, and you're seeing a lot of unexpected change of pace for characters here. So let's start off with the big one here, where we have the events of what happened in the last episode.
Yeah.
And now the boys are trying to figure out what do we do from here, because Billy especially was like looking forward, like, well, fuck it, we'll just kill all of them. And you could see that expression in his face. And then we have Huey and Starlight like, no, we've got one more thing we can probably do. And they're like, well, what other thing can you do that could help turn things around here? And they don't reveal what the plan was, but we do come to find out that they're trying to convince Maeve to come in and testify. And
which really just blows back on Huey.
yeah.
And she has some words to say to Huey. And that was kind of like, well, shit, there goes that chance. But yeah, on that note, just kind of piggy off of that. As that's going on, you have Stan Edgar and the head of the Church of the Collective having a meeting, and I guess they're negotiating the reestablishing a re-entry of the Deep and A-Train back into the Seven.
Yeah,
and you kind of get a little bit more backstory behind Stormfront and Edgar's views behind Stormfront and her connection to the church and her feelings over the church. How he feels like, well, we'd like to have A-Train back, but clearly, Stormfront has an issue with him, so we have to indulge her.
And they also don't want to allow a second former member to come back because it apparently may look Vought weak. Well, if you let this guy back, why are you letting that guy back? So there's a little bit of an image thing that they're concerned about that they want to uphold, which I thought
one shows forgiveness, another one just shows weakness.
Right,
they used it twice throughout the season. As this is going on, A-Train hears this and has had enough, and ends up later on. Pretty much getting all the information that the boys need about Stormfront and hands it off to Huey and Annie.
Which was a nice little intrusive event that occurred where they did not I didn't expect that to happen, where he just
neither did I.
In the car, and I was like, holy shit. Like, it was one of those it was a welcome surprise, and then obviously that kind of just kicked off for the remaining part of the episode, the things that were to come here. What was your, when you see A-Train do that, do you side with his reason for that, or do you just think that you're just happy to see that he's finally the catalyst of bringing her down, with the events that started coming up in this episode? Like, did you have any thoughts on that? Because I was kind of like, man, he's only doing it for selfish reasons. I don't really think he's doing it for.
I think that was exactly what it was for, man. Yeah. Like, he wanted back, and he took an opportunity and he took it. Anything to get back on the Seven, because he didn't want to be stuck with Deep. His reactions to the Deep throughout the entire season has been just great. Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, for real? So he took what he did, and he took advantage of it, and it showed what A-Train's all about. He's all about him and making sure that he's part of the Seven.
Yeah.
And then it was a nice touch for Huey, because like throughout that whole sequence, you can see Huey's completely on edge the entire time. He clearly having flashbacks when because he has issues with A-Train. It's just the first season.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of nice little touch. And speaking of meetings, as that going on, Becca finally manages to find the guy's hideout, to let Butcher know that Ryan has been pretty much kidnapped by Homelander and Stormfront. How she manages to get
Quite
away.
willingly, I must say.
Yeah. Throughout that sequence, we'll touch upon that later because it's kind of one of my negatives about it. But anyway, she eventually makes her way back to Butcher, and the rest of the boys and Huey and Annie are like all kind of surprised to see Butcher in a new light, especially see that Becca exists and that she's there, especially with how Butcher's acting, which I thought was pretty funny.
And we also, this leads up to the next set of events here, where Butcher has to come up with a plan to help Becca get her son back, and this leads to one of my favorite scenes in this episode, where he has a meeting with Stan at the Vought Towers, and you learn a lot about Stan's position on where he stands with the company, his views on Stormfront, and his personal feelings. But it's all about the business aspect of what's best for the company.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
It's all about the money here. So let's delve into that a little bit here. But I wanted to hear your take on that particular scene there, because that was, you see Billy's like ruthlessness in that scene too, but you also see Stan's ruthless. But his approach with his ruthlessness is very calm, has a very sort of demeanor about him that it's not brutish like Butcher here.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic scene. Because they're both on edge, they're both trying to fill each other out, but in a way like Butcher's always gung ho, and how even Butcher calls him out like how do you turn a racist piece of shit into an American sweetheart? And like you said, Edgar's like, she's good, she makes people angry, she makes people want Compound V, and that makes Vought money. Which pretty much sets the tone for where he's coming from, which is fantastic. And then he kind of, Butcher again calls him out again, leading him to like, he hates her. Like he can't lash out. He can't really do much. And with that one great line is like, it's not about him because he can't lash out. That's a white man's luxury.
Right.
Which is a fantastic, just the back and forth between them.
Well, that's the thing, though, because he obviously Billy is trying to bring something out of him where I think Billy understands his motivations, but just to hear him say it, and for us to hear him say that was very revealing about him. And Stan being a person of color, because I remember before you and I talked about it with you, where why would he allow this to happen? Obviously, this explains everything here. It's all for the betterment of the business here, and he's willing to indulge her to her rhetoric, just for bringing the prices up for the company under these circumstances here. But it's John Carlos Esposito, man. I wish we could. I hope we get to see more of him next season here. But
yeah,
but we'll talk about that later on at the closing here. But moving on to the next thing here.
It's starting to build up, man, and you finally get the real. All right, so the boys have a plan ready. They know where Ryan's being kept. They're gathering all the stuff that they can to get, take down both Stormfront and Homelander, and to get Ryan back, so to speak. Because you don't know if Butcher's going to be in on the plan, because he sets up a pretty much a deal with Edgar that, hey, I'll give you Ryan, you just let me know where he is. I'll get him for you. You leave me Becca. And that's the deal. You see how ruthless Butcher is. And at this point, you think he's going to go through with it. And as this is going on, Homelander and Stormfront taking Ryan around. They're going to Planet Vought. And you see a different side of Homelander.
Well, you also get to see that Ryan, who has never been out in an environment with other people, and especially in large crowds, and you get to see that he is extremely insecure and has no idea how to handle that amount of stress in a public environment like that. And you mentioned before that you see Homelander, a different side of him previously, but
Yeah, you get like this touching father-son moment because you can tell he clearly does care about Ryan, um, and you can see Stormfront's manipulation, so to speak, in that interaction as well. So she's trying to push her ideals onto Ryan and explain why Ryan is needed. And in Homelander's face is like, yeah, I don't know about that. We need to talk about that later.
Yeah, that was actually a little surprising because I honestly thought that maybe he was on board with her racist values, because when she reveals to him in previous episode who she really was and what her background was, it didn't seem to phase him. He was going along with her.
Now, if you noticed why, it was because she's like, you're our leader and you're going to be leading us into victory.
Right.
Blah, blah. That's how she got him.
Yeah,
With
you're
that
right.
love and adoration, you're gonna have all these people behind you following your every lead. That's what he needs. That's what he wanted. So she's somewhat giving it to him. But then once she's starting to reveal as to why, I think he's kind of like having
second thoughts
almost. And it was funny because like that to see they're trying to show Ryan how to use his powers, and he's trying to laser vision a deep figure, which I thought was
poor guy, man.
He just
That's
can't
like
get
the
the break.
punchline for everybody here. And so okay, and you actually bring up a good point. I'm surprised I forgot about that, but you do bring up a very good point with that. But here's a funny thing too. At that moment, we get a reaction from Stormfront that makes her leave the cabin that they're staying at. You come to find out that information that Adrian had provided to Huey and Starlight about Stormfront's past is now released to the media. So now everyone knows about her background. And now pretty much Vought is on the verge of like, what do we do here? I mean, you don't see much into that at that moment, but you know that's in their minds. And that's all part of the plan as well, too, where they have to separate both Homelander and Stormfront away from the kid. So you've got that sorted out with Stormfront. And now how can you get a Homelander away from Ryan to extract him and move from there? Which then the show just, I mean, we thought it was getting better at this point. It just keeps getting better and better and better, which now leads to where they do manage to get Homelander away from Ryan through this sound device that they use to help.
They use like the Vought speakers and then like they amplify them. Like it was genius.
Very reminiscent to a Batman versus Superman, I thought, with that one sequence there. But it worked, and that's where you see Billy's and Becca coming in to save Ryan and get him out. And she introduces Ryan to Butcher, revealing him that this man is her husband. And something changes along the way for Billy, where he realizes that I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to go through these plans now. And that was something I did not expect at all whatsoever. I really was not expecting him to have a change of heart, because Butcher's views on the superhumans here are, he just has such a great disdain for them and just has nothing. He wants nothing to do with them. He just wants to wipe them all out. And for him to have that change of tune here, I was very surprised. And this is where you get some of the best acting from Carl Urban here, leading up these events here. But I want to get your thoughts on that as well too, with this change of tune for this for Billy here.
And it helps out. It really kind of culminates at the end, especially during this sequence. And fuck it, let's just get into it. At this point, we're here at the finale. Butcher has a change of heart. It kind of leads up into the final showdown for Stormfront and the boys, where the plan that they had goes to shit, as always for the boys. And it's the girls that come in to save the day. It's Starlight, Kimiko, and Maeve out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was surprised too.
Stormfront to give the boys some time. And it goes back to the joke that, that even Frenchie's like, oh, I guess girls really do it better. Like, get shit done. Like, it was fantastic. Pretty much at that point, Butcher and Becca and Ryan trying to get away. Stormfront catches up with them, and Homelander catches up with them as well. Right not before, pretty much, Stormfront has Ryan's mom pinned against the tree. She has Becca pinned against the tree. Butcher is out of it, and
he comes to.
it comes to, but Ryan saves the day, finally unleashing his superpowers, taking out Stormfront with collateral damage, unfortunately.
Right, and then the process killing his mom along the way, and that was I wasn't too surprised, but I just thought that with what would happen next would lead up to a much more catastrophic set of events here. But in fact, you get another a change in Billy, because before he was all about changing, not going with the plans here and giving up Ryan to Vought for Becca's sake here. Then you can see that he is furious with the kid and he wants to kill him. And if it wasn't for Homelander arriving just at that moment there, you come to see that clearly he still has feelings for Stormfront, because you can see him start to tear up after he sees that she's pretty much dismembered. It reminded me a lot of Revenge of the Sith, where
she's like
that's what it reminded me of.
Up and charred. Yeah, like she's so like delirious from the pain. She's just speaking in German. At him. Like it was weird. But I don't think he was going to kill Ryan. I think he was furious and hurt. But I don't think he was.
But here's the thing, though. This is why I believe he was going to do it. He picks up the crowbar, and he's furious. He's looking at that kid, and the kid's like, I'm sorry. He's begging for forgiveness, pretty much. And then Homelander arrives, and then it wasn't until when he sees Stormfront on the floor, pretty much battered to shit, pretty much. Then looks over to Ryan and asks Ryan, "Come to me." And then Ryan just hops over to Bill the Butcher, and then you can see Bill the Butcher's face change from "I was going to kill this kid" to "Okay, he's not the person that I thought he was going to be. He has a little more humanity than I was willing to give him here." You can see that expression change, which is why I believe that his intention was to kill this kid, but I don't know how he was planning on doing it, because the kid's pretty much indestructible at that point. So how was he going to plan on doing it? I had no idea. But thankfully, we never get to see that come to fruition. And that's where you really get to see Homelander's tune change as well, too, where he was really connecting with his son, being very vulnerable, revealing a lot about himself, to the point where now he's insulting the kid, saying that little shit just killed your wife. You really want to take him back? Like, just right in front of him, which I thought was like, holy shit, this guy is, went from one feeling to another, and with no regard of the well-being of his son. It was just that part surprised me too. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that with that particular change of events.
One scene pretty much culminates what Homelander's true motivation is, and how he needs the love and adoration of people. Because right at that moment, Maeve comes in and is like, "No, you're going to leave him alone. You're going to leave me alone. You're going to leave all these people alone, or I release this video." It's like, well, go ahead, do it, blah, blah. No, because then you'll lose. That's what you want. You want people to love and adore. You want to be seen as a hero. Either you do it, or you're going to lose that. So
right. Well, you see him that he's looking down, and he's hearing the crowd chanting his name, and that obviously was much more important for him. Yeah.
And which sets up the rest of the final scene, where like they have that conference.
Well, what was your take on that, though? What was your take on his change from having a wonderful relationship with his son, where he's really opening up to him, to the point where he's insulting the kid after this kid refuses to go to him? And
it just shows that where his loyalties lie, or more with him than anything else.
Right, no, but
he has this son, but he's willing to let it go to have that love and adoration that he really wants from the people.
But what I'm asking is, like, did you expect that from him?
Yes, I did. The scene went perfectly. They showed how needy he wants, how weak he is in a sense,
right?
And how his true motivation is just he can't live without he'd rather have the love and adoration of the people than he would is his own son. Like, that just shows how messed up he is. It was great. I liked it. I loved it. Even, like I said, the point I was trying to make to you kind of see that more in this following scene when they have that meeting and revealing that they pin everything on Stormfront. Stormfront was the one who popped heads and everything. They pin everything on her. And as he's talking, you know that in in the back of his head, like I said, Homeland feels like he's the hero. He honestly believes that heroes are needed. He even says that in that little speech at the end, like, "We are here for you." Um,
Yeah, and
and
his
the
face
camera
just
kind of
says
zooms in
otherwise.
on his
Yeah,
face, and his eyes, kind of like that. Just right then and there, pushes the point home. That's what more Homelander is more about. Is about, he feels like he's a hero. He feels like he's there for the people, and he lives for that. That's his motivation. It was perfect,
you got a
fantastic.
good point. Yeah. And then we also see that both I meant to say not both that Starlight is back into the Seven now, and
Yeah,
she's wearing her old uniform, the
yeah,
less the less
revealing one.
revealing one, and so it shows you that she has more. To me, it looks like she has more say in her appearance now, and you can see that obviously that there's going to be some friction between them in the events leading to season 3. But what I was really interested in seeing was having A Train back now into the fold, which they don't reveal in that press conference, which I was really surprised about because I really thought they were going to be putting him in there along with Starlight. But I guess the whole focus is what the events that occurred previous to the
Yeah,
conference
I was
call.
gonna say the same thing, which I thought it was odd that he was missing
Yeah.
from that.
So I know you wanted to get into some of the negatives here, but is there anything else you want to bring up as far as the positive concern before we roll into the negatives?
Um, just the big reveal at the end was fantastic. You have, like, pretty much everything kind of coming into full circle. You have Starlight and Huey kind of reconcile everything that they happen between them, especially with the reveal of how Huey is the whole reason behind the whole David Bowie. I mean, sorry,
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel music, and how why he's so into it, and his backstory with his
Yeah.
parents and his mom. Um, you reveal that Starlight's still wearing the cross that her mom gave her.
Yeah.
Pretty much saying, like, if Butcher can do the right thing, there's got to be a higher power out there.
Yeah.
So that was a nice kind of wrap up. You see Mother Milk going back with his family. You see Frenchie and Kimiko going out dancing. Like, everything wraps up nicely. Um, for the whole episode, which leading up to the last what the fuck moments of pretty much revealing, right after a meeting between the head of the collective and Deep and A Train, and he's letting him know, yeah, A Train, you're back. Deep, you're being too toxic. You can get out.
Well, no. Here, so let's talk about that real quickly because he reveals that okay, so something was stolen from the vault there, and he looks at Deep, and Deep's like, it wasn't me. I don't know who it was, and then all of a sudden he looks at Adrian. Well, Adrian, you know about that. He's like, look, man. He's like, listen, don't worry about it. It's okay. But I want to let you know that you're back in the group because Deep was like, what the fuck, dude, man, fuck you, asshole. He's like cursing him out, and then all of a sudden what's his name, Alistair has revealed that he's back into the Seven, and then obviously Adrian is elated, and Deep is like, hell yeah, man, awesome, good job, man, congratulations. He went from like fuck you to like, all right, dude, you're the man, and good to have you back. He's like, all right, so I'm back in the group too. He's like, no, they only have one spot, but don't worry, now. And then this is the part where I know for a fact, and it's really obvious too, that they're making a comparison with they're referencing the Church of Scientology, where he was talking about, just make this payment, and you move on to the next level. He's been fuck that shit, no way. And he reveals about how this whole alien thing occurred that was revealed to them.
Alien
Like,
Force, yeah.
yeah, and he's like, and this is so stupid, and that fucking girl that I married is so boring, and she gives the worst blowjobs. And I was like, holy shit, this is deep through and through. So I love that little closeout for him, and he walks out, and then we get the final reveal where he is talking to Newman, and he's convincing her to allow them to have be tax-free exempt or exempt from the taxes pretty much because he wants her to help the church become an official religion in the country, and she agrees to it. And then he also alludes that there's other files that they have on other heroes as well too that he's willing to reveal if things don't go his way. And she's like, okay, no problem, we'll have a meeting, call my office and so on. And then he's obviously elated. He's having a drink of Fresca, and then boom, his head explodes. And then this is where we get the major reveal of Newman standing outside his office, looking straight at him through the window, and she has those little glossy eyes over her, and then it kind of fades away. And then we realize the entire time, oh, it was her doing this here. And I talked to you before about this here because I did see the episode again, and there are certain things that that was revealed to us that were right in front of us the entire time with the events that lead up to this reveal here, where when she was in the courtroom, she's staring at certain people, heads explodes. When she's looking at her former assistant, she's looking right at her heads explode. So there's a lot of things that they're trying to do, that she was doing, to give this impression that she's completely unaware of it. And obviously she's alluding that Vought's in on this whole thing as well to cover their tracks. Come to find out that she works for Vought. So there's a lot of wonderful reveals here with that character alone. And then we have the boys that are having their own little task force team headed by her. And Huey wants to do his own thing, walks into her office to find a job for her. And then she's saying to him, "When can you start?" So she has all these tracks covered here for Vought, and she's going to be in the know, and they're none the wiser here. So this is going to be something I'm looking forward to in season 3. But I mean, your overall thoughts with that there, with everything that just got.
Let's just get into the whole overall thoughts of the episode and the season. This episode was fantastic. Like I said, it wrapped everything up from the previous season, season 1 and season 2, setting everything up for season 3. It answered a lot of questions, and then gave us some more questions for the next season. The acting throughout the season has been fantastic, phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has been some lows in some of the episodes because some are more character driven, but everything was fantastically done. The only real negatives I really feel like were kind of like they didn't really explain how Becca got away. If she was able to get away that easily, why didn't she do it earlier? Because she just kind of found the tunnel and went out. Yeah, I know they talked about it a little bit with when Butcher was there.
Yeah,
as like the only way out, but it was so conveniently done. Just next thing you know, she's reaching out to Butcher. There were other things throughout the season that were kind of like didn't really. They went somewhere, but it went kind of flat. But overall, it helped push the story forward, culminating to this huge freaking finale.
Would you go as far as saying as this season was possibly better than the first one?
I think the first one was a little bit written better because it was like setting everything up. But this one had a lot of what the fuck moments.
Yeah, the stakes were definitely higher. But the one thing I'll give season 1, which is that ending in the first season, I was blown away. I was like, holy shit! With the reveal of Ryan and Homelander's son. And then this one, it definitely had that twist, but for me, it didn't really have that impact like the first season. And not to say that this one didn't do anything for me. I was still very much surprised.
The previous episode had more of a final impact for everything than this one.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think you bring up a really good point because now it's just trying to patch everything up and leading up to the events of season 3, which I can't wait. Season 3 can't come any faster here. But so that's your overall thought. You enjoyed the season a great deal, with some minor flaws along the way, and in comparison to season 1, you thought season 1 was better than season.
I didn't say. I say the writing in season 1 was better, because it kind of put everything together in a better package. I'm trying to say, I guess, because there was reveals of the heroes, the way that the dialogue went, the way that they had set everything up. I feel was done better in the first season than this season. Especially with like everything it has so much going on. Like everybody had their time to kind of show off in the first.
Oh, I see where you're getting. Okay,
and
I
this
get
season,
you. Yeah.
Not so much. There were some characters that got some stories, some that didn't.
So
some
it was
up to
too much of a. It's too convoluted for its own own good. You thought?
I
think you're bringing a good point. Yeah.
You're introducing so many extra characters, and like there's so many side plots going on. Like I wish I would have seen a little bit more of the Deep and A-Train during this season. I feel like they were kind of pushed off to the side this a little bit more this season than last season.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like the writers like, we don't really know where to put you in this story, so we're just gonna kind of. This is the main picture. We're gonna put you on the side plot, and then we'll have something more for you later on in season 3.
You have a point. Yeah, I actually agree with you. You actually you actually put a new you shine the light on everything. I was not expecting it, but you actually did. You bring up a really good point. All right, well, I thought the season was fantastic. As you already can tell, I was excited for this whole season. Each episode I thought was getting better and better. But I do agree with you. It was way too convoluted for its own good. But regardless of that, we both had a blast with it. And I definitely would go back and rewatch this season again, and season 1 as well, too. But that is it. Those are our overall thoughts here. Now, if you guys have seen this entire season, let us know what you guys think. Did you guys think that season 1 was better? Did you guys think season 2 was better? Let us know your overall thoughts. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And I'd be very surprised to find anyone that didn't like the show, because for me, the show has a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah,
I think
it does.
And while you're here, make sure you subscribe to our channel there, because we're trying to help. We're bringing our numbers here up to 1,000 subscribers. We have seen that the numbers have been going up just a little bit here, so we do thank for all the new subscribers here. So make sure that you also share and like our videos as well, and also follow our social media accounts here at Instagram and on Facebook, New Release Wednesdays, and on Twitter, the NRW. And you can follow myself on my social media accounts. On Instagram, Rob_Medina0585, and on Twitter, RobMedina0585, and on Facebook, simply just Rob the Movie Guy. And my good buddy over there, where can they follow you, sir?
You can follow me on my Twitter and my Instagram on David Is Disaster. I post random memes and pretty much anything else that we have posting up here regarding NRW and every other side projects and gigs I have going on. And you can follow me on my personal Facebook page on David A. Estacado, where I post even more memes and talk about other pop culture stuff and indie wrestling stuff on there as well. Like Rob said, if you like what we're doing here, please check out what else we got going on. We have other reviews coming down the pipeline. We love doing this stuff. We love getting deep, doing these episode breakdowns and reviews. Are you excited for the next season? Did you read the comics? Are you, as you can tell, this season is going a different direction from the actual comics with a lot of the other stuff going on, the reveals. I have some theories on that as well. Here's hoping that we might see some zombies in the future, but we'll get into that hopefully for season 3. But if you like what me and Rob are doing, check out what the rest of the crew is up to. We have Patrick and the Nerds from Color, NRW. Everyone is hard at work putting up content on the daily regarding movies, music, video games, comic books, everything pop culture media and beyond. Check that out. And just, stick around, and don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button.
All right, guys. Until next time, thank you very much for joining us here today. Remember, be safe out there, and cheers.
Cheers.
We're